Okay, yeah. Another real estate video here by the Tokyo Real Estate Man, and I'm going to conduct a bit of an interview in Japanese, and I'll try to translate it after. But this person right here, this is Oi-san, he has a really successful real estate agency here in Shibuya, and we'll talk about the market about after Corona. So 今コロナちょっと最中でしょ、なんか終わりぐらい今でしょ。今渋谷のマーケットはどうですか？
全体にまだ高いの方ですね。
高いですよね。あと例えばコロナ間になんか安く値段になってないですか？
今のところはなってないですね。今後一時的にお金の資金に困った人なんか出ることがあるかもしれないけど、全体としてはみんな買いたがってる。要は自分の本当の仕事の方で儲からないから、家賃収入でそれを合わせようとしてる。
まあ今家賃収入これしかないと日本の株大体なんか配当がそんなになんか美味しくないでしょ、美味しくないだから、日本でまあ僕の収入だと家賃しかないでしょ、それで今渋谷の人口がまだちょっと徐々に増えるんですか？
でも増えるでしょうね。
増えるでしょ。
マンション増えてるし、
Okay.
高いマンションが売れたらお金持ってるから。
そう、今の一番マーケットのニーチのか、マーケットの一番いいのところ、例えばみんなできるの値段ぐらいの賃貸とか、そういうこと。あと、これから自分の、例えばマーケットアウトロックのか、マーケットの意見ありますか？
それは店舗がいいですよね。店舗買っていって、そこで事業をすることで儲けているんだけど、家賃がその事業が成功すると上がっていったりするから、店舗狙うっていうか、今ではもうあることたくさんあるから、もう値段も決まっちゃうし、これ以上家賃が伸びることないと思う。下がりもしない上がりもしないと思う。それで店舗の場合は、そこでうまく運用できれば、それも上がったりするし。
あと、例えば外国人の投資家に対しての一つワンポイントの指導できますか？
基本的にはそうですね、自分たちが知ってるところとか、信用できるとかいるところで買わないと、やっぱり場所が分からないと、買うタイミング、売るタイミングとか全部逃してしまって、全く分からないところで買うことをお勧めします。
あと自分の資金、自分のお金に今あったら投資なんか、例えば渋谷に対して投資の物件買おうが今
買いますね。
買いますよ。
僕は店舗を買いました。
自分の意見だけでしょ。That's another video here by the Tokyo Real Estate Man. I'll try to do a second part of this video. I'll try to wrap it up. But wait till今日ちょっと軽いの話がありがとうございます。はい、すいません。Okay, yeah, this is the second part of the video or the interview I conducted yesterday with Oi-san there. Yeah, Oi-san, just so you know, yeah, he owns a really successful agency here in Shibuya, and I've used him many times, and he's a really good, like when you talk to him, he's he's got a $1 million agency probably every year, and like multiple, I don't know, I've never seen his books, but yeah, his office is really busy. And so he's a really accurate barometer of like what the real estate market is here in Shibuya. And I just ran into him. He was just walking on the street in front of my store, and I said, "Hey, Oi-san, I didn't see you in a while." We always talk about it. Well, I always make it a point to talk to people in the real estate business about their market outlook and stuff like that. So here, this is just a little. I'm going to give a little wrapping because it's tough for me to do like a. When people are talking, I don't like to interrupt and like do this on-time translation and stuff like that because you don't want to interrupt their thoughts. So then I think the best way to do it is these kind of like, I'll just try to wrap up what he said. And I listened to the video a couple times. His Japanese is really hard to understand, but yeah, I years ago, I used to like be talking to him on the phone. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? But yeah, and then slowly over the years, I learned understand them. But yeah, even my wife, when we just listened to the video right now, we were like, oh my god, he's tough to understand. I think he's really tough to understand because he's really smart and his brain is like always operating so quickly. And then he just like he gets through his sentences so quickly, and then you're like, but like I got used to it over the years. So this is I talked to him in the beginning of the interview, and I just kind of wrote the notes down here. I asked him how the market was here in Shibuya, and he said, yeah, the market is really, really active on all fronts for like investors or for the rental market as well. And then he talked about I think this is really key. He talked about for Japanese investor. Rent is the really only, and we talked about this too. Rent is the only place where you're going to be able to seek yield, because if you look at the Japanese stock market, like that is actually an option in Canada. I mean, there's decent REITs that can. I mean, if you have several $1,000,000 in your portfolio that pay monthly, you can. That's a decent option, REITs and stuff. But Japanese dividends pay very, very poorly. So that's not an option. So like if you're looking for income, rent is really the only place you can. So and one of the places that people really rent is here in the city and stuff like that. If you go to my wife's hometown, I mean most people own their houses and they're living in what is it called, like multi generational housing, stuff like that. So many people really don't invest. So let's say you live in Shizuoka and then you have a company that's even a successful bakery that makes a lot of money, right? And you got a lot of money saved up. Then you want to buy an apartment to seek some yield for that. Well, you'd probably try to seek in central Tokyo because it's growing, okay? And then it's a place where you can get rental yield. Okay, and then we talked about, so yeah, that's why the real estate price is so active and he doesn't see it going down. I asked him about the population of Shibuya, and he said that the population continually grow, but he says also that the number of apartments are continuing to grow though too. So, yeah, but always like I say, like here you're already in the center of the city right here. It's so really tough to bring on supply, and that's really because you got to take the building down. You gotta and then build it all up again. So it's really tough to bring on supply. And I asked him where he looks to, like what he's interested in, and he said tempo, and he's interested in commercial spaces or stores and stuff like that. Well, tempo could be it could be like a main floor store, and he said that he's interested in stores or commercial spaces because he sees that that the income is going to be steadier from that, and he just has a safer way of getting yield. That's his outlook on it. But I was also speculating, I was just talking to my wife right now about it, that he might also find a lot, because his agency does a lot of rental, he might see a lot of people that are coming into his agencies that are looking to rent store or office space. Okay. So there is an office shortage here in central Tokyo. I don't know what to read through this. I mean, people have talked about like how after the post-corona, all this people are going to be doing more remote stuff. So it is something that that you'd have to think about as an investor. But he is interested in, as he said, tempo or office space. And then I finally asked him about what about for the gaijin or for an investor, and he said that the thing that he thinks is the most important is that you know the place, okay, or it has a place name that you're familiar with, and yeah, that makes sense. So if you want, like, funny, I have the brand Shibuya Republic because that's the area, the brand that I have my fashion brand, but it all comes out of my real estate company. And that is the area that I know really well, right? The one particular area that I know well is this one. And if I was I'm interested, if I wasn't living here on the west side of the city, because it's such a big city, the other place that I'm interested in is Akihabara, because that's a place that I know well, and it's a place that I feel really comfortable with a name, and I were to buy some property there or buy a store over there, I knew that I could develop a name and a brand over there in Akihabara, just like I do here at Shibuya. But yeah, that's something that I go to the name or the area that I like and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just another wrap-up video here by the Tokyo Real Estate Man. It's really good to run into Oi-san there on the streets of Shibuya yesterday and have a little nice chat with him about the real estate market in Shibuya, which he says is as strong as ever. And I should say, I can say that we were talking about just things in general before the interview on the street, and that he thinks that with all the money printing going on, that there's going to be a wave of inflation at one point. So real estate is just a great place to be. Okay, another video here by the Tokyo Real Estate Man, signing out here from my office here just west, probably 500 meters from Shibuya Station. June 10th, 2020. Tokyo Real Estate Man signing out.